why. The title of this message is obviously, as you can see, is marriage. Marriage. Abracadabra. Marriage is the greatest show on earth. Just because, and let me start off, let me provide this prerequisite before this channeled message. It is now Wednesday, no, December 10th, 2025. It is now Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. And here's my prerequisite. And I noticed this when I was in college, and it can be misconstrued as hate, but those who know, know. When I was in college, I was, I would say that's when I had my awakening when it came to the knowledge and the books that I read and the research that I did about black people, like, black people in the diaspora, Africans, African culture, black culture. Like, I was just like consuming that knowledge just ferociously. And it's when I really start the blinders came off when it came to being black in America, a black woman in America, was when I was in college. And so when I would have conversations with people, dialogue with people, debates with people, you would think that I just hated white people. But no, I just knew the nature of white people. And it was like leaders such as Malcolm X and Audre Lorde and Bell Hooks and Angela Davis and Assata Shakur and Kwame Nkrumah and Jawaza Kajufu and Dick Gregory. It was like they said, you need to know your enemy. You need to know your enemy. You need to know who you're dealing with. And people will make the assumption that because you understand the nature of a person or an organization or an entity, that you hate them. And that is farther from the truth. There's no hate. I just understand who I'm dealing with. Or I have extreme clarity of who I'm dealing with. So when we talk about, or when I discuss like marriage, the men and women dynamic relationships, is not from a perspective of, oh, I'm a feminist, in a connotative meaning of the word feminist. I hate men. I must be a lesbian. It's nothing. Let me do a disclaimer on that. It's nothing wrong with being a lesbian if that's what you choose to do. Just be clear about what you're doing. Don't hide it. Don't be in a closet. We are almost in 2026 according to the Gregorian calendar. There's no reason why you should be hiding that. If that's what you like and choose to be and do and express yourself as far as romantic relationships. But for context, for the basis of this conversation, for contextual reasons, people will think these are the stereotypes that come up. Oh, I hate men. I'm bashing men. I hate women. I'm a feminist, lesbian. And that's not it. I just think, and I understand the nature of men, women, and marriage. And that is why I've learned as I've gotten more mature is not to even have these conversations, not to even engage in dialogue, because most people, be it male or female, do not know how to communicate without being emotionally charged. Most of the time, they are communicating based on one, the connotative meaning of words. And the connotative meaning of words are the emotion attached to the word. They're not even in the conversation, they're not even talking about what the word actually means, the dictionary definition of the word, the etymological meaning of the word. Everything is just based on emotion when you're talking to people. And so you're already starting off the conversation emotionally charged and not even in context. So I avoid these conversations publicly with people because it just, for what? For what? Because either one, you're talking to people who are ignorant, who really just don't know. You're talking to people who are just stupid, dumb, which means they know, but they choose to accept their perception, even though the facts have been presented to them. Or people are just engaging in conversation with you for free because they admire your intelligence, but they don't want to pay for it. And then they want to go back and use it for leverage in their own little world. So I've just learned to just be quiet on a lot of things. Unless obviously if the great mother puts a message or opens, reveals a message for me to speak at the appointed time. So saying all of that, at marriage, men and women relationships, the dynamic of them, the reason I speak on them is because I observe and I meditate and I tap into spirit. And I'm asking Great Mother, like, tell me the nature of a thing. Reveal to me the nature of a thing. Reveal to me the truth of a thing. That's the word, the truth of a thing. And I just realized all of the lies that I've been told about marriage and men and women and when we come together in romantic relationships. And it's okay. There's no judgment here because I asked the question. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So clearly, if I ask the question, I'm ready for the truth. Nobody needs to hold my hand because if I ask the question, it means I want the unadulterated truth. And I have the capacity to accept it and process it and deal with it. So I am very thankful. I didn't understand it then, but I definitely understand it now. I have extreme clarity now. Why I was just not in a rush to get married. Why I wasn't in a rush to have children. It just wasn't. At the time, I thought that, oh, I'm pursuing the American dream, go to school, get the education, get your career, get your money, all of that. And at the time, I thought that I had I had consciously bought into the American dream, and then somehow I missed out oh, now look at me. It's too late for me to have children. And oh, it's too late to get married. No, 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 no. Because the great mother knew the end from the beginning and knew that I would be in 2025, almost 2026, giving this message and realizing where we would be in the economy that we're in, where the state of the world would be. And I am so thankful I did not reproduce with a man and brought a child or children into this world. Just the world alone, why would I want my child to be going to school with a lot of these children? Because realistically, I I would not be in the income bracket. I would not have had the consciousness that I have now to place my child in a private school setting. So my child would have went to public school, and I already know what my child would have been exposed to because I was a public school teacher. This would have been my reality. And this is what I would have exposed my child to. So I would have produced another human being, maybe more than one human being, who now needs therapy. Because clearly I would not have had any consciousness about, trauma and how it's passed down and working and healing on my trauma and shadow work. And I just would have produced another human being in trauma with another human being that was in trauma. We would have come together, this male, we would have come together, both trauma bonding, because clearly, essentially, that is what marriage is trauma bonding, because most marriages, people are coming together unhealed. So you trauma bond and you produce offspring that are the results of trauma. And that would have been me. And that's not loving. That is in the grand scheme of things, that's not loving. To produce more of the same mess that already exists. How is that elevating the overall consciousness of society? But this is what I would have done if I had followed society's dictates and illusions of get married, have children, and not understand that you don't marry for love. That is the biggest lie that we have been told. Oh, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. First of all, who told you that? Who told you? And I know it was religion, that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with this one person? That doesn't even make sense. If you sit down, you don't even spend the rest of your life with your children. You may be connected to them, but you don't spend the rest of your life with them. Eventually, regardless of how you raise them and how they turn out, unless if you're in a situation where the child is there's a disability there, a physical disability, a mental disability. We're not talking about that dynamic. Let's just talk about if the child is relatively healthy physically, mentally. You don't even stay with your child for the rest of their lives. Eventually they grow up and they go and do their thing. Now you're connected to them, but you don't stay with them for the rest of your lives. So you're expected to essentially stay with a complete stranger. You're making a vow to a complete stranger because that's what the person is. They're a stranger. Let's just, as the elders would say, tell the truth and shame the devil. When you're getting married to a stranger. You don't know squat about that person. Is no way. And if traditionally, if you're talking about, if you're listening to the social media pundits and podcasts and influencers and Christian theologians and all of that, like, oh, you don't, after a year or two, you should know if it's leading to marriage. You're gonna tell me that after a year or two, if we go by that philosophy, after a year or two, you know this person and you're ready to say out your mouth that I want to give you the rest of my life. Please, people, make it make sense, because that does not make sense when you start thinking. When you start thinking, when you start thinking, that logically does not make sense. You're telling a stranger, because that's what this person is, a stranger, that, oh, I know enough about you in the year or two that we've been together. I'm willing to vow and come into a contract, a legal contract with you for the rest of my life. Are you fucking kidding me? You got to be kidding me. This cannot be real life. This is the social constructs we have agreed to in this world. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense, because you cannot. You cannot. If you are a thinker, if you think critically, if you sit with spirit, it does not make sense what we have been told. That's why the title of this live is The Greatest Show on Earth. The illusion is real, people. Pun intended. That doesn't make sense. But yet we've bought into it. I'm here to tell you, at one time, I bought into it. I didn't question it. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's what we're supposed to do. Really, people? Really? A complete stranger? I have done readings with people who have been married 20, 30 plus years, and it has come out their mouth that they don't know this person. They don't even know this person. They've been with this person 20 plus years and don't know this person. But we have bought into the lie that they have packaged and put a pretty bow on, and giving you all these pictures and concepts and images that they have planted in your mind that, oh, marriage. Make it make sense, people, because you can't. So the basis of this live is just so interesting. What I think, how Spirit Great Mother will lead me to do a live, and I'll be thinking, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing a live. And then when I start speaking, it's like all this other stuff comes. It's amazing to me. But anyway, the basis for this live is that if you haven't noticed, start, pay attention. If you use social media, use it to be informed and still do additional research. So the new data coming out is that in order to be considered lower middle class, you need to be bringing in $100,000 a year. Typically, when these statistics come out, this data comes out, it's not, they're not talking about a single person. Usually it's usually people that are married and have children. Okay. That data usually does not reflect a person who is single and doesn't have children. So in order to be considered lower middle class, this is lower middle class, which most Black people have been programmed to aspire to be middle class. We have not been conditioned or trained or educated to seek to be the 5% or the 1%. We think that we have arrived when we are doing middle class things. And that is historical fact. If you do your research, you'll see that we have been indoctrinated to only aspire to middle class. So, according to the latest research, 2025 going into 2026, in order to be considered lower middle class, your household needs to bring in $100,000. And that's probably what, after taxes? Maybe, yeah, after taxes. Maybe they're accounting for after taxes. So after taxes, you should have brought in $100,000 a year to be considered lower middle class. So that means that if you were convinced by a man that, oh, I'm going to take care of you and you don't have to work, I just need you to take care of the household, and the only income that's coming in is his income, and if he's not making $100,000 a year, this is a fact. This is not to demean anybody, but if you get triggered, then this message was definitely for you. But it's not to demean anyone. This is just logical. We're having a logical conversation, or not, we're not having a conversation, but this is just logic here that I'm speaking. If he has convinced you, women, wives, if he has convinced you, oh, you can be in your soft girl era, you can rest in your feminine, and I'm going to go out and be the provider, and I just need you to hold down the house, take care of the kids, and be a handmaiden. Go look up the word handmaiden. And that's what you are. And for some, you might be a concubine, depending on if you're dealing with polygamy or polyamorous or polygamy, or if he has another family, if he's cheating. So he has convinced you to rest in your feminine. He has convinced you to not work and just take care of the household. And he is not making $100,000 a year after taxes. Let's put it that way, after taxes. What does that mean? Logically, what does that mean? Get out your feelings, get out your emotions as you're listening to this. What does that mean? That means that you are upper, lower class, or in poverty. That's what that means. Now get out your feelings, because this is not an emotional revelation here. This is just looking at the facts, the data, the numbers, the statistics. That means you are poor. You are considered lower class, but you're married. Make that make sense. But he convinced you, I got this, I'm the provider, I just need you to stay at home and raise the kids and, be a handmaiden. Clean, take care of the house, all of that. And you accepted that. You chose that. You believed, like many women, in the illusions of grandeur. The illusions of marriage, the greatest show on earth. You believed in it. Not thinking ahead. Not sitting down with this person because you believed in love. Oh, we're in love and we're going to get married. Or you didn't want to be a baby mama. Or, you had a child and you thought this was the ticket. This was the meal ticket. The child was the meal ticket. For whatever reason, you decided to get married and you didn't sit down and really have conversation and really say, hey, where do you see yourself financially a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What's your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is in life? What's your goals? How do you plan on reaching these goals? What's your financial literacy like? Do you read books on finances? Do you listen to podcasts on finances? Do you attend classes on finances? What's your financial style? We don't talk about that. We just think, oh, it's love. And oh, I don't want to be a baby mama. I's married now. Not taking into account that we would be here and that $100,000 is lower middle class now. So if you're making anything less than that, and if it's only one income in the house and you're married and then there's children involved, you are in poverty. You're lower class. But yet you've been convinced that this is the way to go. Because what we don't realize, and I've said this before, and this goes in, I'm always integrating my metaphysical knowledge and education, that men are sitting back watching what we say. And they're using it against us. So when we had that entire era or time period, it was a trend on social media of I want to rest in my divine feminine. I want to rest in my feminine, and I'm tired of working, and I want someone else to pay my bills, and I want the soft girl era. And men just sat back, they listened, they took notes, and they regurgitated that BS to you. You believed it, and now look at it. You're living in poverty. So because nothing in this life is free. Nothing. I say that all the time. Nothing in this life is free. Nothing in this life is free. You're going to pay in some way, shape, or form. So there's always an exchange. It's always a transaction with everything. Everything is a transaction. So men just sat back and they listened. They saw all the videos and the podcasts about resting in your feminine and I'm soft girl era and being the provider, and they ran with it. And they leveraged it against us. Oh, this what you want? They knew exactly what to say to us. And then don't let them be skilled and versed and indoctrinated in religion. Woo, baby. They really know how to spin it then. They really know how to add the flavor and the seasoning if they are knowledgeable in religion, and they indoctrinate you that way. And they just got your panties all in a bunch. And you fell for it. You like, oh, he's saying all the right things. Yes, he's going to provide for me. Yes, my man, my man, my man. He's going to provide for me. I'm not going to have to work. Oh, he got everything for me. And now look at where we're at. Any money that he does give you is equivalent to minimum wage. And can you really imagine? Some of you is not imagining because you're living it. You get an allowance. He gives you some money. After all of the bills are paid or whatever, however it's done in your household, in your marriage, and he gives you spending money to quote unquote play with. And that's how you buy your hygiene products. That's how you get your maxi pads, tampons, deodorant, lotion. You got to wait on him to give you money because he convinced you that he's going to be the provider. He's going to let you rest in your feminine. He's going to let you, be the girly girl. And you got to depend on him to buy hygiene products, lotion, deodorant, maxi pads. What kind of foolishness is that? Who wants to live that life? Like literally your basic hygiene is dependent on him working and giving you money to buy that, to provide that for the household. I want you to really think about that. Your basic hygiene, Your basic hygiene is dependent. There's no other income coming in except his income because he's convinced you to rest in your feminine and soft girl era. And your basic hygiene is dependent on his income. So the minute, God forbid, the minute he loses a job, becomes unemployed, maybe experiences a financial setback, or something goes wrong in the house, you got to fix it, or um God forbid he may get in an accident and he's disabled or temporarily out of work for a minute, and you were depending on that income and you can't get your basic hygiene needs met. I really want you to think about that. You exchanged this soft girl era life. It was an exchange. And now you're dependent on someone to provide you basic hygiene needs. If he doesn't work, you don't get deodorant, you don't get lotion, you don't get shampoo, you don't get soap, but you rested in your feminine. And this is what society has taught us as little girls to believe in. Tell me how that is making any type of sense. This is not to discourage marriage. It's not to discourage relationships, because as human beings, we are relational, and we need, in order to be relatively healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you need community. So I'm not here to say become a hermit and a loner, unless, of course, that's what your divine purpose is, and you're going to go be a monk or nun. And even they have community. They are amongst other monks and nuns. So I'm not discouraging that. What I'm saying is to start thinking. When you're in a relationship and you start falling into these roles, into these stereotypes, ask yourself, where did it come from? How is this serving you? How is this making you a better person, being in this relationship and fulfilling this gender role or fulfilling this stereotypical role? How is it serving you? How is it making you a better person? I'm asking you to think, regardless of how it's coming out, and it may be coming out harsh and judgmental, but my intention is for you to think. Who told you this is what marriage is supposed to be? Who told you this is what relationship is supposed to be like with men or women or whatever, however you choose to be in romantic relationship? Who told you these things? How is it serving you? Is it making you happy? Does it bring you joy? I just want us to start thinking instead of just going along to get along. I want us to start thinking instead of us doing something because we want to have this illusion of, oh, I'm married, and to impress the Joneses. No, think, start thinking for yourself, start asking questions. But the reason most people don't do that is because they don't want to deal with their poor decision making. So that's where we get the term ignorance is bliss, or the idiom ignorance is bliss. Because as long as I don't ask a question, as long as I just remain in the dark, I'm okay. I'm happy. I don't have to deal with the fact that I made some pretty poor decisions. Because you don't make mistakes. After a certain age, you don't make mistakes. You make poor decisions. So let's reframe that. Let's reframe how we talk about where we are, because your life is a reflection of the poor decisions or the wealthy decisions that you made. Wherever you are right now, it's because of the choices that you made, be it good, bad, or indifferent, if you choose to use that label. So stop blaming everybody else, your mama, your daddy, this person, that person. No, you consciously or even unconsciously made a choice, but you made a choice, and your life reflects your choices. I just want people to start thinking. I already know, and I'm okay with it, because I'm not here to shrink or dim. I already know my delivery. I already know my tone, my cadence when I speak. I already know. And I'm not going to change it to make you feel comfortable. I just want us to think. I really do want the best for people. To stop making decisions because you're trying to impress people who don't like you anyway. They're talking about you. They're laughing at you. They're hating on you. They're jealous of you. But you're living your life making these decisions because you think that that's what you're supposed to do in society. That's what you're supposed to do as an adult. And talking about that, let me tell you something. Another lie that they've told us, and I fell into it until I realized this don't even make sense. It's not even logical. We sit and we shout, "Oh, I'm an independent woman. I'm an independent woman." No, you're just an adult. You're doing what an adult does. You're providing yourself with food and clothing and shelter. There's nothing independent about that. That's what adults do. But yet, I was one of them being brainwashed. Oh, I'm an independent woman. I'm an independent woman. I pay my own bills. You're supposed to. You're an adult. You're supposed to pay your bills. If you want to be warm or cool in the summertime or have lights and have relatively clean water and have relatively safe and healthy food on the table, you're supposed to do that. It's not a flex. Oh my God. Woo, that was a word. It's not a flex. It's not a flex. But do you see how we've been brainwashed? How the media and music and our parents and society have told us these things? That's not a flex. You're an adult. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do those things. It's nothing to brag about and to make videos about and get a standing ovation for. You're not doing anything that a relatively sane adult is supposed to do. You're supposed to pay bills and take care of yourself. That's what you do as an adult. And I won't even say supposed to, because the people without shelter have shown us that you really don't. You don't even have to do that. And you can still survive and live. But for contextual, basis here, you're not doing anything that deserves a hand clap and an ovation, and nobody should treat you special and put you on a pedestal because you keep the lights on by yourself. As an adult, that's what you do as an adult. You're not doing anything special. And I'm so glad that I came to that awakening. How foolish was I? Silly girl. Such a silly girl. Such a silly girl. That's not a flex. That's just what a responsible person does if they want to live relatively, quote unquote, comfortable, or they just want to live average. But relatively comfortable, that's just what adults do. You're going to pay the light bill, water bill. You're going to pay for shelter and food and clothing. Who told us that was a flex? Who told us that? Why did we believe it? So a person, technically a man doing those things is why are we hand clapping and throwing our panties at that? That's what if you weren't there, ladies, he would have to do that anyway. He would have to do that anyway. So why are you giving him brownie points for something that he would have to do anyway? Let me say that again. Why are we giving him brownie points, letting him run up all in our wombs, trauma dump in our wombs, reproduce? Why are we giving him rewards for something he's supposed to do anyway? Something you're supposed to do anyway as a functioning adult. Do you see the psychosis in this? Do you see the silliness in this? The delusion in this? We are literally putting men on a pedestal for something that he's going to do anyway. If you weren't around, ladies, if you had said no, he was going to do it anyway. He's not doing anything special by providing for you. He was going to do it anyway. You are going to do it anyway, with or without him. Do you think about it? Clarity. Ace of Swords here in tarot. I keep seeing the Ace of Swords from tarot. I want you to have a breakthrough, a moment of clarity, as Jay-Z would say. I want you to have a moment of clarity. He is going to do it anyway. Whether you agreed to marry him or not, he was going to do it anyway. He was going to provide for himself anyway. He's not doing anything special that you need to write a long paragraph on social media, on Facebook for Father's Day, on your anniversary, about how much of a great provider he is. Silly girls, he's going to do that anyway, whether you agreed to marry him or not. You are giving him props for something that he was going to do anyway. Do you see how indoctrinated we are? Because we don't think he was going to do it anyway, baby. Child. He was going to do it anyway. With or without you. You are going to find a way to keep shelter over your head, food on your table, with or without him. Because innately, that's what we do as adults, as we get older. That's what society has conditioned us to do. Ladies, you were going to do it anyway. And maybe no one has ever presented to you like I just presented it to you, or how Great Mother is using me as a vessel to present it to you. You were going to do it anyway. So it's no flex in it. There's no flex here, people. You're not winning. And you shouldn't be putting people on a pedestal because they were going to do it anyway. I just want us to stop being so naive, gullible, delusional. I want us to start thinking. And that's the teacher in me. I am here to get you to remember what you already know. I am here to get you to remember what you already know. We have been lied to. Wake up, people. I can do the right thing. Wake up, wake up. Sometimes I just want to scream, like, and do the right thing at the top of my lungs, like, wake up. Cause child, baby, I'm sounding like, ooh, I don't know what ancestor I'm channeling. Cause I've been saying that a lot lately, like, child, baby, wake up. That's the great mother I'm channeling. Cause I just really be like, child, baby, wake up. Get you a me in your circle. Get you a me in your circle who is tapped into ancestral knowledge, the great mothers who sit at the feet in the spirit realm. I sit at the feet of great mother. Because if you sit at the feet of great mother, I'm telling you, child, great mother will tell you some things. Child, let me tell you, great mother will tell you some things. Stop sitting at the feet. For too long, we have sat at the feet of father and we have ignored mother, great mother. We have given so much energy and attention to father that we have ignored great mother. And great mother got a lot of wisdom to share with us. We need to sit at the feet of great mother. Before you go to sleep at night, you need to speak to your subconscious mind and say, while I'm sleeping, I want to sit at the feet of great mother. So that when you wake up, baby, I'm telling you, what great mother will reveal to you, child, listen. Child, listen. Great mother got a lot to say. Because we've been ignoring great mother for a long time. Patriarchy has told us, has given us a male image of the divine. And really, technically, God is no gender. Spirit has no gender. But spirit had the energy of spirit is both masculine and feminine. And for too long, we have focused only on the masculine energy of spirit. And we've totally ignored feminine. That's why we all crazy in the head. Because that's where the wisdom comes from. That's where the wisdom comes from. Men are naturally, they go out and they do. They enforce. Women, we are the ones that we're supposed to anyway, sit back and we observe and we process and we create, we take things in and then we nurture it and all of that stuff and we mold it and then we produce a finished a product. After we've taken it all in, then we produce a finished product. But if you ever look at history, even if they put a man as the faceplate of it, most men in history, most of the philosophers, go read history. Go really study history. Most of your Greek philosophers, your Roman philosophers, if you study philosophy and mythology, Greek mythology in college or in high school or whatever, or on your own, they always have the men, Socrates and Pythagoras. They always have the men, right? But do you know where they got that knowledge from? It was from sibyls, black women, black prophetesses. That's where they got that knowledge from. It is believed that that's how the Bible was written. From African sibyls, black prophetesses. So they'll tell you, oh, all of these Greek philosophers, male philosophers, but they really got their knowledge from women. Black women, African women, I should say. But when you don't know, you'll believe in the hype and think that men they're just so knowledgeable. Not saying that they're not, but really the reason why we have been conditioned and indoctrinated to think that men are so knowledgeable and so intelligent is because men don't talk like women do. Women just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about nothing. And don't know how to just be quiet and listen and observe. And they don't know how to ask questions. When they talk, they want to prove that they're right. When women talk, they want to prove that they're right. They want to lead with emotion instead of sitting back, observing, taking notes, and asking questions. When I talk to men, I just listen and I ask questions. I very rarely give my opinion or contribute my opinion in the conversation. If they ask, I give them something very vague, very general, not a lot of depth. Like I choose my words wisely. I do more of asking questions. When I'm in the company of men, I just sit back and observe and I ask questions. And I actually, it's not even men, I do that with anybody. But, for sake of this context of what I'm being channeled to tell you. And women don't know how to do that. They gotta just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and always gotta have something to say, and always gotta have a rebuttal and a counter argument instead of just being quiet and just listen. Listen to what the man is telling you, because they're getting their knowledge from us anyway, from how we talk. They listen to our conversations when we're on the phone, what we're talking to our girlfriends about. They're listening. They're on social media looking at what we post. They're watching us. They're observing us. And then they know how to regurgitate that same rhetoric that they heard you talking to your girlfriend or your mom about or your auntie about on the phone. Because we don't know how to shut up. Child, listen, baby. Let me get off. Let me get off. I did what great mother told me to do. Let me get off. Get off this get off this live. I did what great mother instructed me to do. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. Women, we are better than what we have allowed ourselves to be. But until you start doing the inner work, the inner healing, and stop looking at other women as your competition, as your arch nemesis, and they're not. And men, most of the time, when a woman is beefing with another woman, it's a man involved. Tell me I'm lying, because I'm not. It is a man in the middle of it. If you go to the root of it, if you go to the foundation of it, it is a man. It is a man that has caused the rift between the two women, because one of the women or both of the women is looking for the approval of the man. And that's where the rift started, because the man has said something about the woman or both women to each other to tell the women that, oh, I think the other one is better than you. And they are the ones that are planting the seeds of jealousy and envy in you. I'm telling you what I know. If you start going down the rabbit hole of most conflict with women, 99% of the conflict between women, a man is at the root of it. Because somebody, either one of them or both of them, is vying for the attention, the adoration, the applause, the accolades, the honor of a man, the reverence of a man, the validation of a man. And that's why the two women are at each other's throat. Don't believe me? Sit back and think about it. All of the issues that you ever had with a woman, as a woman, the women that are listening to me, all the beef that you ever had with a woman, I guarantee you it will go back to a man. You're seeking the validation of a man. A man is at the root of it. It could be your father, your non-existent relationship with your father, or your chaotic, traumatic relationship with your father. I'm telling you what I know for sure. It has to do with the man, because we have misplaced men. We have put them in places where they're not supposed to be. Now that was a word. Thank you, great mother. We have misplaced men. We have put them in places in our lives, women, that they're not supposed to be. And then it translates into us beefing with another woman, being in conflict with another woman. Baby, baby, child, I'm trying to tell you, you need to sit at the feet of great mother, because great mother will teach you some things. Child, bye. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Let me get off this thing. Let me get some sleep so I can go back into the astral realm and sit at the feet of great mother. I need to go back, get some sleep, and go into the astral realm so I can sit at the feet of great mother. Cause baby, thank you for everybody that listened to this live, share it, like it, think about it, disagree with it. I don't care how you engage or interact with it. If you listen to it, it was a reason why. Your soul knows why you needed to listen to it. So until next time, stay aware and stay grateful.